Hi everyone, welcome to Northern Zen Yoga. My name is Sandra, and today we're going to look at a variation that we usually connect with the Warrior Two posture, that we can flow from that posture into the next one, and that is called Trikonasana, triangle pose. Triangle pose is lovely. You're going to like it a lot. And it doesn't really require a whole lot of extra skill, except for we have to continue with balancing by tightening up and strengthening up through the core. We also get a lovely stretch. As we come into the stretch, we find that we'll feel the stretch from the hip joint up into the arm. We also get the stretches in the legs, and you'll see everything I'm talking about as we move into it. So get your mat ready. And we'll see in a second. Trikonasana, triangle pose. So here we are, we're standing on our mat, and if you've got the line drawn down the center, you know where to start looking at placing your feet for Warrior Two pose. So let's begin by starting in Warrior Two. Front foot is forward, toe is pointing in the direction at the top of the mat. The back heel is lined up with the front heel, but on a slight angle. We're watching that knee isn't caving in. We're keeping it strong. We've got a nice center point balance. Our hips are just slightly off center, coming over in this direction, not this direction or this direction. And we feel very comfortable in our low back. Now, other things might be stretching. We might be feeling the stretch and the pressure of supporting ourselves, keeping that knee over, keeping our thigh muscle engaged and our calf muscle engaged, keeping us stable on the mat. The back leg is stretched out. Might be feeling it in your thigh or your calf or both. And we're stretched out into our arm position. Now from here, the yoga instructor will always tell you, if they're going to go into triangle pose from here, to straighten your front leg. So we straighten the front leg. Now what we're going to do is we're going to start to push this hip back as we reach forward. Now that our knee is now straightened out, we can reach forward without hurting the knee joint. So we're going to start to reach as if we're trying to reach the other side of the room. I'm going to ask you for this first part to place the other arm behind your back. So we're just going to place our arm behind our back and we're reaching forward. And from here, once we get to the point where we feel like we just can't tip any further without falling over, we're going to start to drop our hand down and we're going to reach for either just below our knee or just above our knee. Now the other thing you can do is have a block, and in a second I'm going to show you the variation with the block. So if you don't have your block handy, if you've left it at home and you're at your yoga studio or you're taking the practice with me and you realized you forgot to put the block near where you were, we're just going to now focus on this shoulder. So probably you're in this position. You probably reach down past your knee and you find that this shoulder is dropping toward the floor. You can do a couple of things here. The first thing you might want to do is reach up just above your knee, placing your hand on your meat of your thigh, and see if that lifts the shoulder up. Or if you are stretched down here, see if you can start to rotate that shoulder up toward the ceiling. So this area is what we want to work on. You've seen it where the arm is out. I'm just going to show you once I get into position. The arm is up, reaching for the ceiling. Fantastic, looks great in photos. But if you are in a position where your shoulder can't lift up, you're going to end up looking a lot more like this. Or you might be inclined to want to rotate your shoulder joint and try to reach up behind you up to the ceiling, which is not a good thing. That might be doing some injury to your shoulder, especially if you've got issues with the shoulder. So instead, I want you to let go of the pictures and to think about what it is we're really trying to do in this particular posture, and that is that shoulder rotation. So we're keeping our hip so that our hips are down and facing the ground. We're protecting the low back. We've got our hand behind our back so that we encourage just this part to lift. We're not worrying about what our arm has to do. And we're going to gently start to lift that shoulder up toward the ceiling. Now, the general rule is If you can gently turn your head and you can see the ceiling without craning your neck or stretching your neck or trying to force anything happening here, you can then begin to see if you can reach up. I'd rather you did this if you have your shoulder up high enough than to be doing one of these things. But let go of all of that. Let go of that arm reach altogether and just work on lifting up your shoulder up to the ceiling before you worry about where your arm is going. Hope that makes sense. So let's just try it on the other side just so that we even out our body here. So you see, from this position, with straight legs especially, it's very easy to come into a wide leg stance. And we're just going to shift the feet around. So now, what was the back leg before is now coming into warrior two. And what was the front leg is now our back leg here in this position. Bring our arms out. Find our warrior stance. See if you can get just a little deeper into that stance. Watch that knee. Make sure it's not caving in. We're going to inhale, straighten the front leg. Exhale, push the hip back, reach forward, reach forward, reach forward. Reach, 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 reach. As far as you can. Then you're going to just tip. Bring the arm behind you and lift your shoulder up to the ceiling. Breathe here. Now know that you may be able to do better on this side than the other side, or vice versa, or maybe this side is worse. That's just the way it goes. That's the way your body is. You have to live with it, and we just work on it. We just work on each side independently. The one thing I want to just put into your brain is that we never ever put our weight onto our knee when we're doing this posture. If you find that reaching for your shin is a little bit too far and reaching for your thigh muscle is a little bit too high, that's where we bring the block in and we use our fingertips or the palm of our hand to bring us down. Now, let's try again. We're in warrior two. Finding our warrior two posture. Trying to find our arm reach, stretching out. Inhale, straighten the front leg. Exhale, push your hip back, reach, 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 tip. Fingertips come down and touch the block. The other arm goes behind the back. And then we work on lifting up that shoulder toward the ceiling. And if we can see it, we can reach for it. Come back. Inhale, back into warrior two. Drop your hands down, and then we'll turn our toes inward, wide leg stance, both legs are straight. Piece of cake? Keep trying, you'll get it. Bye for now. Till next time, namaste.